Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to start up here. Alright, so welcome. This is Big Chill Chat, our OSRS based podcast. We like to kind of go into everything that's been going on right now with the RuneScape news and just kind of give some of my inputs, at least on different things. You know, when I have a guest in here, obviously they're able to talk and do whatever they want as well as a part of this podcast. I encourage anyone to be involved with this. So I'm your host, Godslayer, and recently I've been doing my TOA Till Shadow series. Also, currently doing a awesome little thing, which is the Barrows event. Super cool. I'm actually going to show it for the recording right now, and it's 100 KC. Whoever gets the most uniques will win a prize, and then if someone is able to pull multiple in one chest, they're probably going to win a prize as well. If not, I'm going to have to figure out, what I'm going to do with that. Probably might split it between the runner-up and the person in third. So, that so far has been pretty cool. Saw a lot of people get uniques here the other day. I'm looking forward to it. I've been participating. I think I've gotten one dupe on my drop, but I can't win, setting it up myself. So, and then I'm gonna kind of kick it over to the what's new for RuneScape, for old school RuneScape. I'm gonna share my screen for Discord. One of the things that came up recently was the run energy changes. Honestly, I think it's really cool that they're going to be doing stuff with this. And run energy really needed to be updated in old school RuneScape like forever ago. It's the Graceful is awesome. It's such a huge upgrade, and like they're gonna keep that upgrade, it seems. But their whole aspect of like making run energy more efficient for people that are training agility really makes sense, right? So if I have 99 agility, it shouldn't just make my run energy replenish faster. It should also go down a lot slower. That's kind of what they're trying to like do in here. I've seen some people like trying this. I actually haven't gone to the beta world to try this, so I encourage everyone that wants to do so. Just looking at it, so their plan is to improve the experience for new players so that old school RuneScape feels less sluggish in the early stages, which makes sense because you don't have teleports, you really don't have anything, so you're getting around by running. Improve the value proposition for agility levels so that levels feel like it's actually impactful in more scenarios, which makes sense because Graceful is great in a lot of like mini games and everything like that, but like honestly, it's sucks when you're trying to do a boss and you don't have a max house and you're running all the time and it's just you can't get there. It takes forever. It takes twice as long just to actually continuously kill a boss, and that's not how it should be. So I'm really happy to see that. Consider the impact of changes on activities where managing your run energy means of skill expression or warrants resource usage, such as Blast Furnace, Olm, and Goswar Dungeon. So like that's perfect because I think in there I haven't done too much of Blast Furnace. Olm obviously like you're always moving, especially if you're running the head. And then God War's Dungeon, a lot of your solo methods are run. They're run related. Like a good example is Saradomin. I mean, you pretty much just kite Saradomin around the room and shoot it with a bow or T-bow or shadow or whatever you have. And that's how you do the solo method. So it's gonna be really cool to see like what their plan is for that and how well it works. But in my opinion, when you get into like, I want to even say like 70s, 80s, 90s, your run energy should not drain like that much at all. I mean, obviously, unless if you're wearing like full torva or something like that. But they do go down to explain the different weights based off agility levels, which I mean, I guess that's really cool. Graceful outfit. Remove the 30% increased run energy, regenerate set effect, and grant a 4% chance to receive an additional mark. It looks like they're gonna really kind of focus on graceful, like being better just for agility. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't think that's a great idea. I mean, unless if they're really gonna rework runs so that way you really don't need graceful at all. But I don't know. Um, the next little update since the last time I did it was just some of the Coliseum changes. The hitboxes, the click boxes are a little bit better um, based off their changes. I thought it was kind of funny that they did the Kiss the Frog random update. Like they changed that. Like, that's I don't know. It's always been like that. I mean, I can remember that from way back when. Like, I don't know, like 20 years ago, when the Kiss the Frog thing was there, and it never offended anyone that I knew of. But whatever. Now you can pet the frog and all that other stuff. So, um, you can actually now exchange your frog tokens for XP lamps, which is really cool. Not really. A lot of these other ones really don't make too much of a difference. It was really cool. The Dead Man All Star stuff was really cool. I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but I want to catch up on it at some point. And then they were just, obviously some of their stuff that you can go and buy. Wicked awesome looking OSRS PC, which I'm sure some people have probably bought or going to. And then my next little thing is going to be, I want to talk about like low level to mid level, mid game moneymakers that are solo. So obviously, like in that, I'm not going to really include like DKs. You can kind of include, but I'm not going to include them in this one. And looking more towards like, what would I do if I didn't have anyone to play with and I was in that low to mid game like area, and I came up with 5 bosses that I personally think are great to grind to get that money up to actually make it, towards more of the middle game and more of like the end of mid game. Because these will also develop your skills based off of what you have, what you're going to have available. You're going to make money, you're going to actually get your upgrades and everything like that. So the first one is Barrows. And what made me think of this, obviously, is we're doing the Barrows event. But Barrows, even in 2024, is still decent money. According to this, it is 800k hourly profit. So, like, that's not, really, it's not bad. And, like, if you have playmates or you have, a max house, obviously, this stuff can go up. But they also have teleport tabs right to Barrows now, which that's awesome. If you have the hard diary done, you're making decent money because you also get extra runes. So Barrows, even in 2024, is good money. Just kind of going through. Obviously, you have your Arams, Daroks, Guthans, Carols, Torag, Varrock. So like you're making money off of these. Like as long as you get one of these, you're going to be making money. It's really not hard to do. I mean, it's it's one of the easier low to mid game money makers. The next one is Barrels 2.0, pretty much. I mean, the Moons of Peril. Obviously, you have to have access to Valinor, but inside there, you have this whole like ecosystem, which is sweet. You can make your own potions there. You can catch your own food there. I mean, you literally don't have to spend any money for the most part, other than like your gear, um, to do Moons of Peril. They're really easy. They pretty much give you a rundown of how it goes in the quest, and like it's another barrels type thing. I mean, obviously it has its own ecosystem, so you're able to, catch fish in there. You're able to do, like right in here, you have your moonlight potions, which you can make right in there. Your cooked moss lizards, you can make, you can cook right in there. There's also the different fish that are in there that you can. So it's great because you're not really using supplies, and according to the wiki, it's 1.8 mil an hour. And that's based off of their drop rates and everything like that. I mean, you can see the blood, the eclipse, or is that the eclipse? And then the frozen one, yeah, blue moon, eclipse moon. But it's a really good addition to the game. It didn't really break anything, and in my opinion, and it's notable to do on your low to mid game account. Now, going into the next one, this, in my opinion, is kind of more of your getting to mid game. Zulrah. Now, Zulrah is less money per hour, but you will make money here once you learn the rotations. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And another thing about Zulrah is, like, you're actually, like, in my opinion, when you learn the rotations and learn what you're doing, and if you're doing switches, this is really helping you get from low mid game to like actually in the mid game. Because in my opinion, there's three different ones, right? You have low mid game, high mid game, and then you're kind of teetering from the high mid game to the end game. Low mid game, you probably can do Zulrah all right. Definitely mid game, you should be able to do Zulrah. You should be able to actually like kill Zulrah pretty quickly. You will make money. I mean, all the different fangs, the Tanzanite Fang, Magic Fang, Serpentine, and the Onyx. Like, you're gonna make money here. I mean, you'll get one of those big drops and go, oh, awesome, like, this was worth it. They used to be worth a lot more. Zulrah used to be more money per hour than a lot of these things on here, but it's definitely botted quite a bit. But this is like a kind of a goal, in my opinion, for mid game. Like, it's not the greatest thing money wise, but it kind of isn't terrible, and it's good for improving your skills. That's why I included Zulrah on this list. Because like Moons of Peril and Barrows, honestly, are super easy to do. You don't have to have high skills, high gear to do them. You can use like a Trident of the Swamp to do Barrows. Moons of Peril, I mean, people are doing it in a whip and the Blood Moon set. Like, it's really, really easy. You just have to get Moons of Peril, I'd say, in like Zulrah, and probably why they're so close together, is you are going to have to learn some mechanics, but nothing like extravagant. The next one is a lot better money per hour, and it is number 2 on my list. It is not number 1, just because you have to rely heavily on the Venator Shard drop. So, that would be good old Phantom Muspa. Now, Phantom Muspa, it does have some mechanics, but you can also do pretty much what you do with Saradomin, right? I didn't add Gosword Dungeon in here because I feel like they're better in groups for the most part, maybe other than Sarah, but by then you usually have the money to not worry about so much money-wise. Phantom Muspa, you most likely are going to have a range and mage swap, depending on if you have Bofa or not. And if you have Bofa, like, you're already pretty well into the mid game in my opinion. But you're just gonna kite Muspa around in its melee phase. Its range phase is pretty easy. I mean, you're just standing there dodging any of these little things that pop up. And really, in all reality, Muspa is kind of a harder fight. I don't know. I think Zulrah and Muspa are kind of the same, like, for fight-wise. Now, one of the things that I didn't realize while I was doing my grind way back when is that Greater Corruption, you can cast that when it's in its final form and take down its shield pretty quickly. So, like, that's a really, really cool thing to know. I didn't know that before, so it's kind of a noob on that aspect. But, I mean, according to the wiki, 4.8 mil an hour. But that's so dependent on getting the Venator Shard. And if you're like me, I've only gotten 2 in 400 kills. So, I kind of stopped going there. I was getting nothing. And, like, if you look at the prices, when they first came out, the Ancient Essence was a lot. And now it's like 10 GP in Ancient Essence. Before, when it first came out, I think it was like 300 or 400. I remember the first time, I believe I sold it for 337 a pop, right around in there. It was quite a bit. So you were making a lot of money off of the Ancient Essence. Now, not so much. Again, pretty sure it's heavily botted. Obviously, you can also get your Ancient Icon from here, which you'll probably need when you start getting into that, like, endgame area. Your endgame area, you're going to have the Desert 2 bosses. I didn't include those, obviously, because I feel like those are more of your late mid-game to endgame. Like, chances are you're not going to be worried about how I'm going to make money. I mean, yeah, you are for DT2, but also at the same time, you're more of, I've got comfortable gear where I don't need to have to sit at one of these bosses on this list, and I can sit there and hope for, one of the ring upgrades. Muspa, I mean, it really, obviously you can get your dragon plates, and plate skirts. It does drop quite a few runes, some cannonballs, some herbs. The seed drops are pretty good too when you get them. I feel like 4.8 is really high for money per hour. And then that just could be my terrible experience with Muspa. The last one on my list, which people are probably saying, why is this number 1 on your list? Well, why? Because Vorkath is always money. I don't think there's ever been a time that Vorkath has not been money. I'm sure it's botted heavily still, but you're always pretty much going to make 20k right off the bat with a kill because you'll get two superior bones. And then it's actual drops. I mean, it's quite often that you get dragon, one of the dragon items or rune. Um, battle battle staffs drop two and 1.375, and you usually get 5 to 15 noted. So like, that's 100k right there, and it's pretty much like, you know that no matter what, you're gonna get 28 kill or 28 to 29k a kill, well, before even receiving one of the drops that can change. Um, your Dragon Bolts unfinished, you get those quite often. You get your battle stats quite often. You get your dehides quite often. Obviously you get some of the tips quite often, like the Onyx Bolt tips. Your seeds, I feel like, don't drop super often being there. I mean, every once in a while you'll get them. Your magic logs, stuff like that. Like, you're making money. Your dragon bones, like, honestly, those are perfect. And then you do have your rare drops, which obviously include, the pet, the jar, everything like that. But you also can get the two visages, draconic and the skeletal. And I mean, if you get one of those, obviously you're gonna be making even more money. According to the wiki, um, obviously there's different ways to kill it. Blowpipe, which I would not recommend, 1.8 mil an hour. Dragon hunting crossbow, 3 mil. And then with the Dragon Hunter Lance, 3.2 mil an hour. I usually use the melee option, the Dragon Hunter Lance. I feel like it's easier to Wooks walk with, and all that other stuff. I mean, during the fight, you have to be able to move, because you'll have the one hit KO, which you have to be 2 tiles away from. Is where he shoots a giant fireball in the air. You have the acid phase, which is where you Wooks walk, and then you have where he spawns the little I don't even know what it's called. It's just a little creature there that you shoot with Crush Undead. And really, mechanic wise, I think Vorkath is super easy mechanic wise, and I think it's easier to learn than Zola and Muspa. Because Muspa, you're not just, Muspa, you have to either learn how to step back method, or you're running around dodging stuff. It's a rain phase. You have to make sure that you get your mage protect up when he does his little special attack. Zolrel, you have to learn rotations as well as swap and all this other stuff that you have to pay attention to. Vorkath is great money for, in my opinion, lower effort than those two. Now, if you give me a moment. I'm going to bring up my RuneScape. Anything that you want to say, Sinbad? There's a little bubble in the top right hand corner if you want to say anything. Oh, if I could type, that'd be great. What's up, Sinbad?
Hello. Thank you for going through and explaining a lot of things.
Oh,
Liked it.
it's no problem. Been trying to
Except
do.
for the graceful part where I just got my graceful, and you explained how the update is ruining that for me.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that they don't totally get rid of that effect, because it will ruin graceful.
I mean, I can understand it because most people rush for graceful and then never touch agility until end game, pretty much. So I can see the incentive to change that.
Yeah. Well, I did the kind of the same thing on my hardcore Iron Man because like graceful's so useful, and in the early game you don't have a teleport, so like you're running everywhere, and it's not like
Right.
I can just buy some, because you can't on Iron Man.
That's true. That's true.
But did you have like is there anything else in the what I talked about that you had questions on?
No, I mean you're pretty in depth, honestly, man. Um, I just got lost into listening to it, all the money methods, makers and methods, and like you were talking about. I forget the chest boss names. The lunar chests? Is that what they are?
The
No.
the,
Um,
the Moons of Peril?
yes, those guys. I did those the other day, and I agree that they are like a Barrows, an awesome moneymaker for not having to really spend a whole lot of any money.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people don't realize that you can literally make your potions and your food and everything right there. Like you don't have to leave.
Right, yeah, it's better for you actually. The prayer potions technically give combat boosts and prayer.
Right.
The potions you make there. So it is amazing. Oop, I'm praying the wrong thing.
I know. At some point, I want to. So since I have this maker thing out, I'm going to on the YouTube channel. The Big Chill YouTube channel. Um, I'm going to make just a quick little guide example kill for each one of those bosses.
Ooh,
So look for that probably within like I don't know. It'll probably be within the week.
that'd be awesome. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, I'll probably also do it on stream and Big Chill. So like, if you ever want to stop, I'll send something out and say, hey, I'm recording that, and you can stop in.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Um, that's pretty much all I had for today. Uh, it's definitely great when we get more people on here, but I know a lot of people are busy today, so
For sure, man. Thanks for having me.
yeah, no problem. You ever want to come on an episode again? Just let me know.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Shout
Oh,
out Big Chill.
yeah, I'm gonna move you down so I can do my ending here.
Yep.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and thank you for Sinbad for joining us. This is I God Slayer, and this is Big Chill out.